Okay, I think we're good to go. So, to share screen, share screen quickly. Okay, so good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining the numbers of Pilot. Please feel free to use the chat section to let us know your name, where you're joining us from, and what aspect of data science you're learning. Could be data analytics, data science, data engineering, big data, machine learning, and all the other fun aspects that data has to offer. So please, we'd love to see that in the chat and what country you're joining us from. So I'm Gigi, the program manager of Tech Up Africa, and joining me today are amazing speakers, and Jennifer is my co-host, and she'll be hosting the session with me. She's ambassador with Zindi, so she'll be introducing herself soon. So a bit about Paywen for those who don't know much about the nonprofits. We are a nonprofit centered on empowering women with the connections and community that they need to connections and everything that you generate basically need to grow in your career and your business. So basically, we have two programs. We have the Aspiring Entrepreneurs Program, which kicked off in 2020, and we have the Tech Cup Africa program, which kicked off this year with our Women in Tech conference and our mentorship program, which closed this month. And now we're kicking off, we partner with DataCamp to offer data science scholarships to as many people as we possibly can. And that will be kicking off next month. So in the meantime, we partner with Zindi to bring you this amazing session with these amazing speakers who will also be introducing themselves shortly. And we'll be talking about how to get started in your career in data science. So talked about Paywen, talked about Tech of Africa. So the Tech Dev Talks are our periodical sessions where we talk about different aspects of tech. We're not just focused on data science. We also focus on other aspects like the non-technical things like digital marketing, UI, UX, and technical things like AI, machine learning, software engineering, front-end, back-end, web development, and other fun aspects of tech that you can think about. So this is the first of our data series designed specifically for data science, and we're super excited that you guys could join us. So I will hand over to Jennifer to introduce herself and also talk a bit about Zindi, because Zindi is an amazing platform for data scientists.
Okay, thank you, Gigi. I hope you can hear me clearly. So, yes. My name is Jennifer. My name is Jennifer Mariga. I'm a data scientist. I'm also an ambassador for Zindi. So Zindi is the large community of data scientists from Africa who come together to solve the world's most pressing issues using machine learning and AI. And it's also a place we provide a platform where you can learn, grow your skills, and find jobs. You can also earn money by competing in hackathons and competitions there, and you can also build your reputation. It's a good platform to build your reputation. So today we have with us Andreas, Damiano. We have three amazing tech experts, data experts. So we have Andreas, who is a senior scientist at Andreas, who is a senior scientist at Spotify. We also have Ameline, who is a data scientist at Accenture. And we have Sami, who will be joining us. He's a bit late. And he's also a data scientist at Oracle. So would you guys mind introducing yourselves a little bit? Tell us how you got into tech, what your role is, what it entails, and just a little introduction. So probably we'll have Ameline go first.
I am Armin. So I'm currently a data scientist from Accenture, and I started my journey here as a career shifter. So I wasn't really on the backside of computer stuff. I'm on the science side, and then I got here and using my what I've learned in the science program that I had before, and that really landed me to becoming a data scientist right now. And years almost I am actually 3 years in data science. So I started doing some internships before I got really a data scientist job and working with some community projects where I also know about our host for today. So yeah, definitely.
All right, that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that.
I can go next then.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Right. Hi, everyone. I'm Andreas. I'm so
Yeah,
happy to be
please.
here.
Yes.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and I'm also very happy to meet all of you and my co-panelists as well. Um, so I'm currently senior scientist at Spotify, working in personalization. Before that, I was in Amazon, and before that, I was in the uni. I was doing research basically. My background is more on the machine learning side. I did a PhD in machine learning, but I have worked in quite a few data science, let's say, heavy projects in the industry. How I got in the whole area, I did a master's in Scotland that was called Learning from Data. It was like 2008, so back then there was not much the data science, let's say, keywords. So I actually thought it was more about data science. It turned out to be more about machine learning. I don't complain, but that's how I got in. Basically, the masters, I didn't know exactly back then. Machine learning was not big, neither was data science. So I liked data, I guess, like for my bachelor's, and that's how I got into that. And then yes, I did my PhD, and I got more into that.
Amazing. Thank you so much for telling us that. That's like an amazing background. So, Jennifer, would you like to kick us off with asking the first person their question, please? Okay, I think her internet is a bit spotty. Okay, so first
All
question.
right. So the first question. Okay. So one thing I want to know about you guys is I want.
Hi, can you guys hear me okay? Hello? Amir, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can't hear the question. Yeah.
Okay, thank
Can
you.
you
I
like
think
repeat?
your internet is a bit spotty. So first question is for you. Could you please tell us about how you got into data science and analytics specifically? And then you can talk us through transitioning into data science. But start with the analytics first, please.
Yeah. Actually, like when I started doing the analytics part, so I kind of doing stuff for like dashboards, creating like stories from out of those data that I have, and then what I actually got into like data science role is like what I've learned as an analytics person, like communicating what this dashboard really tells about, and then putting it into something more useful insights to a specific problem in a company. And then when I go to data sciences, it's just adding more like making some machine learning models from the analytics. So that's somehow like connecting part of like going to analytics and then going to data sciences. So yeah, that's definitely pretty much about how I got it there.
Amazing. So could you please like tell us some analytics tools that you used?
Yeah. Actually, when I started like analytics, I usually use the Power BI and also like the Tableau as another option. And then when we actually use those stuff, creating stories of those data, and then putting out all those presentation to someone that has like they can use it for something better. And I think that's pretty much what we've used also in the analytics part. And I've also tried like the data studio as another one when I'm trying out more other tools for analytics. And I think that's pretty much the tools that I'm using currently when I got in the analytics part.
Amazing, thank you. Okay, so my next question goes to Andreas, who is more of a machine learning type person. So what kind of tools do you use for your role?
Yeah, right. What type of tools, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So when we start a machine learning project, first we have to understand the domain and what we want to get out of that. So a lot of that's going to be communication. But I want to mention, because I think also communication skills are very important. I'm trying to actively cultivate them. Whenever it includes data, let's say, the way I see it is that you have data, and from data you go to insights, and from insights you go to actions. So I'm trying to find what are the tools that allow me to do that. So starting with like analytics tools to understand the data, it really helps even if you do machine learning to be hands-on with the data, so you understand what you are working with. So I'm using a lot of things like low-level things like pandas to understand the data. A lot of the data is massive, so I'm also using cloud tools. I'm trying to learn as much as possible of things like BigQuery. It really helps to do a lot of operations within BigQuery or within SQL, such that you don't have to download all that on your machine that sometimes doesn't fit, things like that. And then moving forward to the modeling, obviously, using like Python libraries, PyTorch, things like that.
Okay, amazing. Python libraries, PyTorch, and also communication skills. So, Jennifer, are you good? And Sammy just joined us. Hi, Sammy.
Hi, how are you doing?
Nice for you to join us. Jenny, while you're sorting out your internet situation, could Sammy please introduce himself?
Okay, thank you so much. I'm grateful to be here. So I'm Sammy Ongaya. I work at Oracle as a data scientist. My detailed description is a data science and analytics consultant. So my role is basically to implement data projects to our Oracle clients across the Middle East and Africa.
That's amazing. Okay, so I think Jennifer has a question.
All right. Okay, so can you hear me well?
Yes.
All right, so the first question I have for Sammy is probably, like most beginner data scientists would like to know if they must have must you have a mathematical or analytical background so that you can start your journey in data science? Like must you know programming and maths so that you can begin your journey as a data scientist?
Yeah, so of course you must know, for you to be a data scientist, for you to work with the data, you have to have those skills. You have to know to understand mathematics. You have to have programming skills or a bit of software engineering background, because you are going to interact with a lot of data from the data perspective. So, but it also varies. It depends on different tech roles within the data require different levels of such skills. So if I'm going to do like a data scientist focusing on machine learning optimization, I might need a lot of mathematics, probably advanced one. But if I'm going to do a bit of data engineering, creating data pipelines, in that context, I might need a lot of programming skills so that I can be able to scale up the data pipeline and be able to handle large massive of data. But how much is how much when it comes to the content of mathematics or programming that you need? That also depends on your role. But for you to be a very good data scientist or thrive in data field, you need to have those particular skills. You need to have mathematics. You need to have programming skills so that you can be able to solve these problems or data problems easily. However, I believe the question is more general because the context of how much do you need or do you require, it will vary. And you remember that data science is more of it's a team's game. You can't have everything. One person, you can't possess everything and be able to create a very scalable solution with only one person. You will need other people. So your weaknesses you will be complementing them. Even when it comes to the skills like programming and mathematics, there's some places you have a lot of strength, and there are some places that you might have some bit of weaknesses. So focus on nailing out your weaknesses as you also keep on what you do best. So the best thing is you can become a data scientist even if you don't have mathematics, you don't have strong mathematics or programming skills. But the success of your journey will depend on how much effort are you putting in so that you can be able to acquire those skills. If you won't be able to acquire them after a long time, then probably you might think a different career stream within data, or different application of data science that doesn't heavily require mathematics.
Hey, thank you. So a quick question for like everyone, all three. What are some data science branches of data science that require like less of a technical background, like for someone who is like scared of math? Because you get this like all the time, like you don't want to deal with like the very technical coding Python type things. So what are some technical aspects that someone could try?
I think I could go in that question. Like there are some, I think, roles that since like the agile processes in a team, like in a data science team, I guess that's pretty much about like how you can manage the team, like project manager stuff. Like you don't really exactly know the technical part, but you can manage the entire team of data science. Because working in a project needs to have like these certain like areas that you need to work on. Like if there's like a data engineer on a team, data analyst, data scientist. So there's like one person that needs to handle them because they're like very specially with technologies or like technical part. And then I guess if someone out there or anyone from the participants are much more interested in going to project management, because some data scientists are also going there in the part there. So I guess that's pretty much that, that doesn't require more technical part. Yeah.
Thank you, Andreas. Do you have something you'd like to add?
Yeah. So as I was saying before, I think understanding what the task is about is very important, and having people who understand data, so that they are data scientists, but maybe not necessarily working hands-on with hardcore tools. It's important because potentially this sort of people could take up tasks like speaking to stakeholders, understanding things like, okay, where did this data come from in the first place, right? What do we want to get out of this data? This is technical to an extent, trying to understand, okay, how should we approach them, but at the same point, it's more on the, maybe it's as Armelina was saying, more on the management perspective, more on the product perspective, let's say, right? So it's about the data, but more about the product itself. And as you do that in various projects, then you find yourself that you are building the skills of asking the right questions, which is a non-trivial thing. So people make careers out of that, right? So you might not be up to date with the most, let's say, advanced coding platforms or whatever, but you have, through your experience, learned to make the right questions, and you learn how to have the right, let's say, mental model of, let's say, upper management, how to present results to them, and so on. So that would be like one maybe complementary aspect to what Armelin was saying. Yes, I don't know what else. Yeah, from the technical aspects, I guess it depends, right? If you're part of the team, I think it also, maybe as Sami was saying before, depends on how much willing you are to build up in the future. So if you don't have a background, but you are willing to build it up as you progress through your career, it could be that, you work on like some aspects of the data that is more about, let's say, visualization, things like that, while being in a team with people who do have experience in the more technical aspects, right? So if you're part of a team that works well and is functional, I think there is still a place if you're willing to learn.
Yeah, so maybe perhaps to add on top of what my two colleagues have said, it's pretty much important. Data science is a very wide field. It's like when we are building or constructing an aeroplane. So you will need a lot of people with different skills. but each of them, they are contributing to the common objective. Probably one of the key things in like the member of my team or where I usually work on when we implementing projects is that you find out that some particular roles are not much technical. They are data scientists, but they don't focus much on the technical aspect of it. So things like being a business analyst who can be able to understand the business well and be able to translate those particular business to for the technical people. So that is one of the key area that someone who doesn't want to focus really on the technical bit of it will probably focus on being a business analyst within the context of data science. Also on the project management side, as Ameline said, it's very critical. It doesn't need you to have that practical skill set. However, you need to understand what is happening. You need to understand the entire process life cycle of data science or whichever project you are doing on, you're implementing, so that you can understand and communicate well both with the technical data scientists and also the customer or the business side of it. So there are quite a lot when it comes to data science roles. They are very different. It will only depend on where your strength lies from. So for me, I've basically interacted with more of a business analyst within the teams of data science.
All right, thank you, Sami. So one more thing I would like to ask is about the choice to take a graduate, like to take a graduate degree. Like after how long should you take it, and is it really necessary to take a graduate degree instead of a data science certificate, or like just joining a boot camp? So maybe one of you could answer, like how long should and while joining it, should you have like a little skills in your, like should you have some work experience before joining taking a graduate course? So probably one of you could answer that.
Yeah, I think I could answer. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, sure, sure. Yeah, I think, well, it's still up to the person. Like, since academia doing research about, let's say, machine learning or AI is kind of different as we work on the industry, because it's more of like, yeah, this is process. But when you're going to academia, if you wanted to delve more deeper in a specific area, then maybe academia or taking some graduate studies is also helpful for you. But I guess that's not really like a very like requirement for you to go. But if you wanted to improve or be promoted in a specific like in a company, and if you want to use what you've learned in your graduate studies that might be helpful for you to get promoted, then that's pretty much also the advantage of having it both. And with in terms of the boot camp, if you want like a short term because you wanted to have like, I need to have a job, or you have so much things that you need to do, then maybe going to the boot camp might be helpful for you, because maybe after that you can get a job and then so on. So I think it's pretty much about like what exactly you want to go for. Do you want like a short term or a long term like studies in a specific like data science or machine learning part?
All right, thank you, Ameline.
Maybe if I can just interrupt and add on top of that. So that is a question that I usually get most of the time when I'm doing a presentation, or rather, even during my mentorship with my mentees. So I find out such a question coming up more often. What I can add on top of that, what she has said, is that both of them are source of knowledge, and both of them will lead you to the same destination. But now the path that you are taking will be slightly different. They are not competing against each other. You just have to use them wisely, so that you can arrive at your destination. Like for me personally, I've had a formal graduate degree. I've also done certifications. I've also attended boot camps. So for me, I think it plays out well. As she said, it depends on your context. If you have an opportunity to have a formal degree in data science, and you have the time, it's good to go for it. If you don't have time, or rather resources, you can go for bootcamp. The main objective is for you to arrive at what you want. You want to become a better data scientist. You want to contribute to the organization or rather to the business. So both of them will lead you to the same destination. It's just a matter of where you are, what you have, and the time that you have.
Thank you very much for that response. That's really wonderful. Okay, so I have a question for all three speakers again. So how do you keep up with like trends? How do you keep your data science skills fresh? How do you keep up with like new libraries, new tools constantly coming out in data science? So I'll start with Andreas, and then we want to Amielin and then Sammy.
Yeah, I think I have an easy answer for that. I push myself to work with colleagues who are better in data science than me, and that's usually easy to do, easy to find such colleagues, because I'm more of a machine learning person. Being in a company, so for those who do work in companies, another way you can do that, to learn from each other basically, is to organize, we call them like guilds, like basically groups of common interests. So within these groups, it's easy to exchange, news, opinions. So it could be that in my formal team, let's say, in my company, for whatever reason, let's say I don't work that much with data science, but if I do have the interest, I can create or I can find a cross-company group with people that have like this particular interest, right? You can participate, you can have like a dedicated Slack channel, you can exchange all these resources. So that helps. And the other thing is participating again in like formal or even informal hackathons. Okay, it's like the best thing if you have time to go to Kaggle, things like this, right? And see what other people use, go to the forums, but this can take time. But even smaller things, again, for those who do work already in companies, and even if they're not data scientists, usually most companies could have, let's say, one day or a couple of days where people are encouraged to do some hackathon, right? And explore some, let's say, wild idea. So giving these suggestions to managers, if that doesn't happen, it's helpful, and then people can, let's say, self-organize, right? Do hands-on work, and that really helps. At least that's how I do it, because I don't have time to go like to yearly bootcamps, for example, right? Yeah, and the final thing is that, again, from the perspective of the companies, which is the one I have the most, there is formal training from companies that is usually optional. People can opt in for that.
Thank you. Amielin, how do you keep your data science skills fresh?
Yeah, actually, being like a data scientist or being in a part of like analytics or data science, it needs like being a learner, or like what we call lifelong learner, because definitely like technology is really like improving every day. So what I need to do was just okay, I need to learn. So if there's like a new trend, then I'm gonna read of it, and then like a community, like you maybe joining like a community wherein you will share common interests, like what Andreas also shared, would be nice things for you to tap on that. And if you can do some volunteer work where you can definitely use or learn more from these individuals that are really great in data science. So it's really nice to connect with them. And also, if you want to take some courses, then definitely, even if you're already a data scientist, making yourself more like willing to upskill in the necessary tools that you wanted to like improve more. So that's definitely how I top of my yeah.
Okay. For me, I think how I usually keep my skills fresh is first of all, I try to go the certifications way, because new products come with the new capabilities. Probably they simplify a lot of things. That is one thing. Another thing, as my two colleagues have said, things like a bootcamp are also good. Meetup to get ideas on what is happening in the industry, to share, to collaborate together, so that you can learn and get up to date with what is happening. Yeah, so those are the two things that have kept me at the top of my skills.
Thank you very much. I think Jennifer, do you have a question?
All right. Yeah. So one thing I've noticed today is that you guys have been mentioning about teams, and I want to know what are the pros and the cons of playing in teams, and what does it mean to be an effective team player? So probably I'll have the last person who have mentioned that team is Andrea. So probably you could answer that.
Yeah. Thanks for this question. I liked Sami's explanation. It's like building an airplane, right? So I also believe that. You talk like pros and cons. I think there is like more like pros, but maybe there is also some caveats. So the pros obviously is like you have different perspectives. The problem when you're looking at data and you're a data scientist, you are doing a bit of a detective work, right? You're trying to, you're like an investigator, and you don't know what you don't know, basically, right? And if you have multiple people bringing different perspectives, that's how you can identify the things that you're currently missing, right? And the other thing is that naturally you also have multiple skills. Collaborating, you learn from each other, so you get more from the set. And finally, it's more fun. I mean, working in a team is like really fun, especially with like things like data. Once you look at them for too long, at some point you go to like this level of granularity that no one else can understand you if they're not in the team, and you want to show to someone like, look what I found, right? It's like, it really helps to speak to this hands-on low level of granularity with someone else that gets you because they also work in that project, right? And now I don't see any cons, but I would say more things like caveats that one should be aware of when they are in a team. And one would be, okay, we are in a team, right? I like Sami's again example. You're building an airplane, but you need to ensure that there is someone or collectively that knows that the job has been done, right? Not like, okay, I did like the left wing, and then Sami did like the wheels. Like, okay, who did the right wing, right? So it's like having a puzzle. You want to ensure that it's not like I do 1/3, someone else is doing 1/3, and no one is doing the thing in the middle. So that's like really difficult because people focus on the thing that they're working on. So that takes a lot of communication. It potentially can take like a product manager. So that's not like a cons. It's more like something that people have to be, I think, very aware of when they work in the teams. That we should ensure that we cover the full space with what we are doing.
All right, thank you. Maybe I'll go back to Gigi. Do you have anything else to ask?
Okay, yeah, I do have a question for all three. So we have a lot of beginners, a lot of beginners here, and they would like to have like tips on how they can actually get started. Like going back through your experience, what's one way that you, like from your experience, like how would you have started learning data science? So ask Amelie.
Yeah, actually, if that's gonna ask me, like, I guess getting yourself there, like, although the first step might be the hardest when like going to a specific career or profession, but I definitely would say that you have to start from where you are, from if you have like resources like what Sammy had mentioned, like if you have only like this limited resources, then use it to go to your next level on learning data science for it. So I guess start like right now in your data science, like not tomorrow, but today when you're like learning something. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. Andreas, how would you have started learning data science if you could do it all over again?
Repeat that, please. I didn't fully get it.
Okay. How would you have started learning data science if you could like do it all over again from the beginning? How would you have actually started?
I don't think I have a great answer to that because I don't know how to different be. I guess I'm happy with the path I took because there is a lot of like opportunities. I think the important thing is to find opportunities and just grab them whether this is just a competition that you want to apply. I don't think there is like a correct path, right? I think it's more like ensure that in your journey you have like an open mindset and wanting to learn and not letting opportunities go. So I will do something different because I think there's like a million paths that can lead you to the same outcome, as long as you have this appetite to do hands-on things, understand, learn, and internalize.
Thank you. So Sami, what's your perspective on this?
I think I like what Andreas just said. It has a million way of how you can get started. It just depends on again what Amelina said, where you are. You have to start from where you are, and whenever you get an opportunity, grab it. You are never too. You can't be too perfect. You can't prepare until you are too perfect so that you can go and look for opportunity. It's always a moving target. Perfection you might never attain if at all you are waiting, but you have just to keep moving. So probably the things that personally for me that helped me so much, and I think these are the common things that you will hear everybody will tell you. Things like having a bit of a good portfolio. So the portfolio of projects will enable you gain technical skills mostly, and also learn a bit of additional skills on top of that. If I can be able to explain my project very well that I created to someone, then that person is able to understand. Then I think I'm heading in the right direction. Another thing maybe probably that can get you a bit faster is a network. Go to events such as these ones, learn what is happening in the industry, gain those skills that are being mentioned, or rather that the employers are looking outside there, so that they will help you become more skilled. And I think also in terms of learning, sometimes you have to have an approach or rather a strategy, because we have a lot of content. If you're not guided well, you might get lost, because it's a very huge field. Data is a very huge field. And I think lastly, that probably might help someone is find a mentor, find someone who can mentor you, who has been in that field, you have seen him or her excel. He has a good sense of direction and guidance. They will be able to guide you and help you, and you might you'll make it. And probably finally, the more you put in terms of time, in terms of how much you learn and how much you practice, it will make you reach your destination faster.
Thank you very much.
May I add something to that, if that's okay?
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that sometimes it might also be, okay, we're talking about, when you want to be data science, you have to learn like all the basics that all other data scientists know, right? But there is potentially another route, complementary, which could be high risk, high reward, and that would be trying maybe to specialize to something that you like in particular within data science. For example, just saying something random now, right? I mean, you could specialize in a tool that you can use better than the average data scientist, right? Or the other thing is that you could complement it with other techniques, like for example, machine learning now, causality is a bit of a hot topic, right? And causality is something that goes well with data science. So, how can you do nice causal analysis beyond correlation, right? Like this causes that instead of like correlation. So if it's something that you like and you have the time and opportunity and you want to take the risk to spend time to specialize in things like that, it could be that they pay off, because then at least in this subfield, you are already, in some niche that there is less competition, right? This sometimes work, especially if it's something that you like to do, the specialization.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any questions for them?
Okay, so probably we should first of all look at the questions from the audience. So someone is asking here that I've been doing guided projects on bootcamp sites, but how can one access or solve data insight problems without any guide? So would anyone like to answer that?
Yeah, actually, if you wanted to like access a real data, then you can go into like Kaggle, or either you can scrape data sets from anywhere. So if you wanted to not do like a project that doesn't have like a guide, then maybe it's like the question of where you can get data that you can start off in your project that is somehow like something that you're really interested with. Like if you're more of like on the side of healthcare, then you can find some data sets that are related to that and then start from, doing something that here. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much you can start off to your data science project. Yeah.
Thank you. Someone else is asking. Okay, what does it take to run a data company in developing countries in Africa?
Maybe I can take that up.
All right.
I don't have a data company. I don't own one, but I think I can have a perspective. So basically, like any other data company, first of all, you start a company because you want to solve a problem. So if you have a clear problem that you have defined very well, and you have known that you are proven beyond doubt that is a problem, then that's where you start. Have a clear problem. From there, now you will have a strategy on how you are going to solve that problem. And you might require some sort of assistance. Probably you might go for grants, you might seek partnership, and that one might work for you. So first of all, have a clear problem that you want to solve. Then the second, try to find out how you are going to solve that particular problem using data. So that will be my take on that.
Can I answer that as well with some partial knowledge I have? So I don't have first-hand knowledge on that, but I've been participating in Data Science Africa since some time now. It seems to me that one thing that is quite particular about, let's say, the developing countries, right, or like countries in Africa and so on, is that there is a lot of opportunity that doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. For example, I was visiting IBM in Nairobi, and they do a lot of cool local projects that have to do with the way that the cities function, right, and how to optimize various aspects of the city. In Data Science Africa, again, there have been quite a few people from companies that all share common interests around specific areas like agriculture that doesn't really exist as much in data science terms in potentially other countries. So I think focusing on local problems and using that to motivate innovations is really important. And from the first time I visited Africa, I noticed that the internet and everything is it's easier to get mobile internet than in the US, for example. So I think there is a reason for that, right? I think it's like sometimes the constraints that might exist, like financial or whatever, they also bring like opportunities and innovation. And the same is also with the mindset of the tech community that I have seen. So leveraging that gives also competitive edge as well, I think.
Thank you so much for that response. So another question here is that I'm a software engineering student. I hope my program will fetch me a broad knowledge in my field. So I think another software engineer we have here is Sami. So probably you should like tell us how software engineer has helped you in this career as a data scientist.
Yeah, thank you. And I think, yeah, having a background in software engineering is a very good boost for you when you are transitioning to data scientist. Because for me, initially, I did computer science. Then from there, I was a software engineer, and then I did masters in software engineer. While I was doing masters in software engineer during my research thesis is when I saw an opportunity to transition to data science. So my research project was on machine learning. So that's what I built an interest in machine learning. So software engineering, or rather programming, is heavily required for you to excel in the field of data science. But that having said, any kind of education, because data science is a multidiscipline. Having software engineering is just part of it. You need to go and find the rest of the skills that you need. You need to find a bit of mathematics, business understanding. You need to know how to manage and handle data. You need to know how to communicate to stakeholders so that you can turn your insights into action and create an impact. But that having said, software engineering is probably they have an advantage, because at the end of the day, sometimes you might need to productionize your solution or create a product out of it. You might have an idea on how it's working and how you will be able to approach it. But that doesn't mean the other degrees, or rather the other education degrees are not important. It co-share, it complements each other. That's what I can just take on that.
Thank you, Sami. So we have a question in the chat. I'm looking from Obiano Junwa. I'm looking for where to do an internship or even volunteer work. I'm finding it difficult to find. Please, can you suggest where I can get help on this? Amelie, can you give this a go?
Yeah. Okay. For like the beginners, like we're like here joining on our organization, like Dana. Like you can search us right now for starters on, especially on the data science stuff or doing some machine learning project, then I can definitely suggest you can start with there, because you're gonna see a lot of like African people there, and they're like smart, literally smart data scientists. So you can really learn more as a beginner, because when I was starting off with my data science journey, I've learned a lot with them. And it really helped me so much, like building up my portfolio and getting all the knowledge that I need as a data scientist, and all the tools, like how is it done, and all the stuff like deploying this kind of solutions and so on. So I definitely like to maybe you can start your journey on Ambena if you want, and yeah, you can do either like local projects wherein you can specialize like a specific area or a specific country that needs like data science solutions. And then maybe if you wanted to like work on startups problems, like doing some product development, then you can definitely do so. So yeah, I think that's for the beginners.
Yes, thank you. I think I could add to that. Ambena is a great platform for learning, definitely. And they're also like, if you're looking for more like African-centric communities, although like Ambena has like local chapters in Africa, which is great. You could also try out Data Science Nigeria or AI Saturdays. AI Saturdays has like branches in like Lagos, Port Harcourt, Abuja, almost every state. So you could try looking at communities like that also, because they have like volunteer and internship opportunities. Zindi is also a great platform to check out. Also, you can check out global communities like Women in Data. I think there's like an internship thing going on, Black Women in Data. Like basically just check for several communities that have these openings, and then you should definitely find something. Okay, Jenny, would you like to take another question from the Q&A?
Yeah, definitely. There's this one where a person is asking what level of knowledge one should have before looking for a first job. So, anyone want to take this one?
Yeah, I guess I could start off there. Yeah, I think you could, if you know that your portfolio is like set up already, like all the things like you're either a project that really like an end-to-end project in terms of data science, maybe you could start from there and looking for a job. And then if you're looking for a job, then look first on the qualifications that you're looking for and check whether those qualifications meet the skills that you have right now. And then if it doesn't, then look for a specific company that are at least on the that meets your qualifications or meets your skills that you have right now. And then yeah, you can start off there and yeah, continue like looking for a job that really like with the skills. It doesn't need to have like a 100% skills that they're like looking for, but at least you have this specific tools that they're looking for and the languages that you're using. So definitely it's like how you can start off there.
Well,
Thank
often I
you.
find,
Thank you, Lillian.
just want to add that often that I find that most of the jobs that at least the good ones that are willing to invest to the employee, they teach you a lot of the things that you should know. So I think it really helps to ensure that before or like as soon as possible you acquire a foundation. The foundation helps basically to learn faster whatever special things that the company might need, because different companies have different requirements, and I think the foundation helps to quickly learn those. Yeah, as an aside, I think potentially if someone's like in the very beginning of their career, having a public GitHub profile might also help exposing projects they have been working on, even if they're like, pet projects. I think that's also a helpful thing.
Yeah, I think maybe if I can just add on top of that is sometimes you might not get the correct fit to the job that you are looking, especially at the entry level. So you have to see the job that is currently available. How far is it from what you need? And most of the time, I might want to be a data scientist or get a entry level as a data scientist, but such opportunity is not there. Whatever opportunity is there is like something like data engineering or business intelligence. So depending on what you want, probably you could take it up. Once you are inside the organization, there's usually internal mobility. You can prove yourself that you can be able to offer value when it comes to data science. You can be able to contribute a lot in data science. You have those skills. So getting inside is one thing that is very, very much important. You might wait for a perfect role that 100% fits your sort of what you need, but that might take a bit longer than you could go in with something close to what you want, then pivot inside the organization. So that is also an I've seen it happen so many times within the organizations.
All right. So we have around 4 minutes left, but I have seen an awesome question here by Samuel. He's asking, do you think we can use data at the moment to design a new economy for Africa? And what are your thoughts on how we can do that? Do you have any suggestions, opinions, ideas on how we leverage opportunity? So yeah, it's an interesting question. Anyone could pick that one?
Yeah, actually that's interesting. Because I think that maybe like once like a data is being digitalized, because everything like there's so much opportunities right now if it's digitalized. Like for example, like Facebook, we do have like data there or any platform. So if there's more data sets like that, then definitely there's so much opportunities for data scientists or data analysts or either machine learning engineers. So definitely like I guess that's pretty much also in Africa because I think it's really emerging right now because I've seen a lot of like programs and initiatives that are really doing well on Africa. And I guess I've encountered like the startup before that the loan payment is kind of not the digitalized before, and then they started using it. They started using data science to improve their processes, and that makes a lot more opportunities for people in Africa to have like jobs also in data science. So definitely like maybe you could start like checking some startup companies that now adapting data science products, and you can definitely start off there to also check their positions that you're opening. Then you can definitely start with there, and yeah, gonna help a lot from the economy as well.
Okay, so we're almost like rounding off. So I have a quick question from Andreas. Would you like to share your experience with the Data Science Africa initiative a little bit?
Yeah, I will try to be quick since there's not much time. But just to say quickly, it's really an amazing initiative. I think starting in 2015, they have done 10 events so far in multiple countries in Africa. And it's basically all about bringing communities together, interested in data science, and it comprises a couple of days of school, which has like lectures and talks, workshops, and sometimes even field work. It starts from the basic, like how to install Jupyter, Python, things like that. And during the workshops, people get to explore hands-on problems. It's very much centered around local challenges. A lot of workshops have themes around agriculture and natural disasters, things like that. It does bring people from different communities that have the same experience and the same interests, and I think that's potentially the biggest plus from that you can make your network basically. And these networks remain even after the school, and the whole Data Science Africa nowadays is run by the local people. And the thing that I like the most about that is seeing how it generates a lot of innovation because of the constraints that often are associated with the local problems. As an example, one of the things that was featured in one of the early Data Science Africa was some work by the Makerere University in Kampala, where people were using mobile phones strapped to microscopes, and they were collecting data from cassava leaves and doing automatic classification if it's sick or not the leaf. And that was like more than a dozen years ago, just to give you the context, right? So it's things like that. So there's like a lot of innovation, a lot of motivation, and I encourage people to look it up. Personally, I have learned a lot of things.
Thank you very much. So we'll be wrapping up soon. And yeah, we'll be wrapping up soon. So Jennifer, do you have anything to let us know about concerning Zindi before we wrap up the program?
So yeah, as I said earlier, Zindi is an awesome platform to connect with other data scientists. We are also trying to solve like the world's most pressing issues using machine learning and AI. It's also an awesome platform to win yourself prizes and money while competing in hackathons or competitions. And we also connect people to organizations and jobs. So yeah, it's an awesome place to like learn. You can learn. You can build your portfolio by competing in these hackathons. And yeah, so if you want to sign up, I have sent the link down below. Let me share it again. But it's an awesome platform that you people should join, especially if you're a beginner data scientist and you want to like grow your knowledge in this field. So thank you. It has been awesome partnering with Tech Up Africa.
Thank you so much. It's been so much fun. Am I done with the large echo? Okay, so one final question for all three speakers before we wrap this up really quickly. So Amrylin, what's one tip you have for a beginner in data science? This also goes to Andreas and Sammy. So what's one tip that you want our listeners to go away with?
Yeah, I guess what could I advise for the beginners? I think you like joining like career talks like this would also enlighten you from what is really like specific things about data science, and also maybe adding more like the bootcamps, and if you can do some programs for data science to learn more about it. And if you want to also learn more in the courses that's really out there, there's like Datacom. There's a lot out there like Coursera that offers. Or either way, you could do like certifications that if you want to leverage your skills that you have right now. Or either way, there's like communities that like such what Andrea has also mentioned, and also like other organizations that really like use data science as a way of tool for like solving problems. And yeah, when you go to data science, it's more of like you becoming a problem solver. So that's pretty much what I could tell for it.
Thank you so much. Andreas, would you like to give us one final tip?
Yeah, we'll say something quick to be complementary with everything else. Basically, care about the data, where they come from, and what is the outcome that we want from working with this data. Often we work with, let's say, competitions, things like that, that could feel a little bit artificial because it's all set up for learning purposes, but in the real world, there is a reason why we look at the data. This data didn't fall from the sky, they came from a specific process. So understanding where they came from, what we want to do with those, and more importantly, how we can take actions based on the data science work is very important. And I think can draw attention to someone's work and progress like this.
Thank you so much. Sami, what's your final tip for us?
Okay, so for me, what I just say is if you want to become a data scientist, you have just to get started. Get started with what you have, with where you are, and with anything that's around you, get started. It is a journey, it is a career like any other. Nobody was born a doctor, nobody was born an engineer, nobody was born a pilot, nobody was born, you can mention, but it's through the discipline and getting started, gaining that knowledge and moving forward. So get started, don't be scared, and finally you will make it.
Thank you so much. Those are amazing tips. It was amazing speaking with all of you and partnering with Cindy through Jennifer, who is very amazing. So to learn more about PayWen, you can check out our website. I've included the links in the slides, so you can check out our website and also learn more how to join our Tech Capital community through the website. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. The Data Camp scholarship will be closing tomorrow. So if you haven't signed up, please do. So if you haven't joined the community or you don't know where the link is, I can't really like do that right now. But like through joining the community through our social media platforms, you come across the link to the community and also to the forum. So thank you so much, everyone. It was amazing having this conversation with everyone, and we'll see you soon because this is the first of many more of these sessions to come. So thank you so much. Bye bye. Have a great weekend.
Have a good
Bye-bye.
weekend, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Okay, time to end the session.